on the page 4 of the Guardian newspaper. Power tussle, more rocks APC as leaders split over Mufti Wang's defection. Page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Obi worries about drug trafficking through courier services. Page 7. On page 5, Minister, the Guardian partner on national youth reorientation. Local contractor accused federal government of withholding 760 billion naira payment, threatening protests. Page 6. The story is on page 8 of the Guardian newspaper. And on page 22, Nigerian among least connected by air despite huge potential. First Bank vindicated. Arbitration tribunal dismisses GHL's $780 million claim. Those are the salient headlines we could get for you from the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Now let's move to the front page of Daily Trust newspaper. Sanusi to federal government. Borrowing after subsidy removal wrong. You can see that headlines from Daily Independent newspaper, which a similar one. Reforms focus on easing hardship for ordinary citizens. That is the writer is Nigeria needs long-term capital infrastructure investment. Author Sanusi blames decades of inactions of first subsidy for hardship. That's cover from Daily Independent newspaper, and we can also say that from majority of the Nigerian dailies for today. Now let's go back to Daily Trust newspaper. You can read the story on page 3 and 4 of Daily Trust newspaper. $1 billion debt, banks take over Nestor. That's coming on page 5. Senate to screen service chiefs today. Page 4. Port Harcourt refinery shut down. How Nigeria lost 366.2 billion naira a month. Page 23 of Daily Trust newspaper. 8 years after threatening to tear green card, U.S. revoke Soyinka's visa. Page 3 of Daily Trust newspaper. And you can as well see the story, read the story from Daily Sun newspaper. Soyinka shocked by U.S. visa revocation. The writer says he has been asked to reapply. Page 6 of Daily Sun newspaper. Now, on the also still reading. Okay, I've brought majority of the headlines from Daily Trust newspaper. Now to the New Telegraph newspaper. Refs panel, we have received threats for terrorists to bomb NAS. Rider, police kick as Senate State Assembly's back bill to establish NAS Security Directorate. Page 3 of New Telegraph newspaper. Also, still reading from New Telegraph newspaper. Asset declaration. 9 ministers, 43 palm sect, 40 directors verified. CCB. The writer says over 500 forms received. Page 29 of New Telegraph newspaper. Budgeted. Enugu likely state to survive without FARC locations. The rider, Lagos, Abia, Anambra, Kwara complete top 5. Page 29 of New Telegraph newspaper. Nigeria spent 15 trillion naira on generator diesel fuel in 1 year at Delabu. The story is contained on page 3 and 7 of New Telegraph newspaper. Study links rapid tooth loss to higher death risk in older people. Page 27 of New Telegraph newspaper. We can read the rest of the majority of the headlines there and the stories that features from the New Telegraph. And reading from Daily Independent newspaper. Don't allow Nigerian democracy die in your hands, Tinubu urged. Page 7. And also on page 7, Refs move to probe NFF over misuse of $25 million favor CAF grants. And on page 6 of the Independent newspaper, federal government target 2 million meters annually with 700 billion naira funding. Reps panel moves to impose green tax on plastic producers. Page 27 of Delhi Independent newspaper. And on to the Punch front page. Taraba Hurricane Tinubu, Taraba Plateau, Adamawa governors face defection dilemma. The riders dead. Kivers Muftiwak's political realignment looms. Fintiri hurts grant. Planned defection don't settle state APC leaders. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Hidden asset, court Rozabaki Yari has case to answer. Page 7. And also, vote buying won't decide Anambra election. Move on page 9, page 3 of the Punch newspaper. Now let's go into the front some of the story that features from Nigeria, some of the Nigerian dailies for today. Don't change the dial. This is Flashpoint, a newspaper review from the stable of Ayekooto 88.3fm. Now, from the Daily Post newspaper, the House of Representatives has resolved to investigate the circumstances surrounding the abandoned constructions of a multi-purpose dam project valued at 22.58 billion naira in Kajala village, Ile-Ife, Osun State, more than 2 decades after the contract was first awarded. The decision followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by Honorable Abimbola Ajile-Soro titled Need to Complete the Constructions of Multi-Purpose Dam Project in Kajala Village, Ile-Ife, Osun State. Leading the debate during Tuesday's plenary, Ajile-Soro said the contract for the dam was initially awarded to Reynolds Construction Company, RCC, Nigeria Limited on December 21st, 2024, at a cost of 2.24 billion naira with a completion timeline of 24 months. He recalled that although the contractor eventually mobilized to site in 2008, work progressed slowly and reached only 40% completion before being abandoned due to inadequate funding. Ajile-Soro noted that the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, in collaboration with the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, later reviewed the project cost to 10.87 billion naira on December 13, 2011, with an extended completion period between January 2020 and December 2021. He also disclosed that another cost revision was made on December 15, 2022, raising the total project estimate to 22.58 billion naira. Yet the dam remains incomplete and abandoned. Expressing concern over the delay, Ajile-Soro warned that the continued neglect of the project had deprived residents of 11 local government areas in Osun and neighboring Ondo State of access to essential bulk water supply. Following deliberations, the House mandated its Committee on Water Resources to conduct a comprehensive investigation into the project to determine the total amount released to the contractor since 2004, assess the current status, and ensure accountability in the utilizations of public funds. That's coming from Daily Post newspaper. And before I leave Daily Post newspaper this morning, the University of Lagos, Akoka, has placed an official ban on skit making, content creation, and other video recording activities within its campus and hostels without prior authorization. The directive announced in a statement signed by the institution head of communication, Mrs. Adegoke Alaga Ibrahim, follows growing concern over the increasing use of university facility for unapproved video productions, including comedy skits, voice pops, and film shoots. According to UNINAG, the decisions aim to safeguard the institution's image, maintain decorum within the academic environment, and ensure that its premises are not misrepresented in the online or public content. The university emphasized that any individual, whether a student, staff member, or external party, must seek and obtain formal approval from the institution's communication unit before carrying out any form of recording or production on campus. Daily Post newspaper has details of that news report. On the business aspect, from the top story from Daily Trust newspaper, the shutting down of the Port Harcourt refinery, the biggest refinery in the country, has cost the Nigerian government over $249.7 million, equivalent of 366.210 billion naira in the period of 5 months from May 24, 2025 to October 31st, which is the period of 156 days. Daily Trust check as have revealed. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) had stated that the revived plant has the production capacity of 60,000 barrels per day and was producing at least 1.4 million liters of premium motor spirit every day. However, some staff in the refinery who spoke with Daily Trust on the condition of anonymity revealed that the amount could be the sum used in bringing the refined product from other refineries to Port Harcourt refinery in the name of production. The staff who said they are barred by the management of the refinery from speaking with the press said the Port Harcourt refinery did not produce as claimed, as products were brought in from somewhere to sell out to marketers. But the NNPC's Group Chief Executive Officer Bayo Ojulari, while addressing a delegation from the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, led by its president Festus Osifo, few weeks ago, attributed the refinery's poor performance to years of neglect and fundamental structural problems that made profitable operations impossible. Some staff of the Port Harcourt refinery told Daily Trust that right from November 2024, when the NNPC claimed that the refinery was working to May 2025, when it was shut down, there was never a time the refinery produced. The staff member, who simply identified himself as Teska, not a real name, said that at a point when the information began to filter out from within the refinery, the management had issued a circular banning any staff from speaking or granting press interviews, adding that as of the time the refinery was shut down, neither the new or old plant was working. Daily Trust observed that the refinery had 506 staff members as of July 2025, 2 months after it was shut down. However, Wumi Iledare, a professor emeritus of petroleum economics who offered expert perspective on the implications of the Port Harcourt refinery shut down in the past 5 months, explained that Nigeria loses twice monthly through scarce foreign exchange spent on fuel import and the loss in the domestic value creation due to the refinery remaining idle. Details of that story from Daily Trust newspaper. From the Nation newspaper, suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police DCP Abba Kyari and his 2 brothers yesterday failed in their bid to terminate their ongoing trial for alleged failure to fully disclose their assets. In its 23-count charge, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency NLDLEA alleged that Abba Kyari, Muhammad Kyari, and Ali Kyari failed to make full disclosure of their assets. In a ruling yesterday, Justice James Omotosho rejected the no-case submission the defendants made after the prosecution closed its case. Justice Omosoto had, among others, that the prosecution has established a prima facie case against the defendant to warrant their being called upon to enter a defense. The judge added that at this stage of the case, the court will refrain from evaluating the evidence but limit itself to stating that on the whole, a prima facie case had been made out against the defendant. He adjourned till November 4 for the defendant to open their defense. And still reading from the Nation newspaper, thousands of members of the All Progressive Congress (APC) of Osun State on Tuesday held a solidarity march to back the global aspiration of the managing directors of the National Inland Waterways Authority (NIWA), Asiwaju Muniruddin Bola Oyebamiji Ambo, and re-election of President Bola Tinubu. The supporters converged on Osogbo City Stadium and marched through Ayekooto, Igbona Old Garage, Orisunbari, Olaya, Fakunle to Oguluwa, which covered 5 kilometers before they terminated at Tinubu Shetima campaign office. They described the Niwa boss as the best aspirant with the capacity and ability to deliver victory for the party at the 2026 governor race. Former Osun Speaker Honorable Timothy Uweje said the works was not just a show of strength for Oyebamiji, but also the reaffirmation that APC remained the party to beat in Osun State. Details of the news report from the Nation newspaper. From Vanguard newspaper, the chairman, House of Representatives Committee on Internal Security, Garba Mohammed, revealed yesterday that the National Assembly has received threat from terrorists to bomb the complex, stressing the urgent need to strengthen security within the nation's highest legislative institution. Mohammed, who disclosed this at a public hearing on a bill established the Legislative Security Directorate aimed at improving security management and safeguarding lawmakers, staff, and visitors to the National Assembly, said the state of Nigeria democracy had increasingly faced serious security challenges, including cases of car and motorcycle theft, vandalism, fake identity cards, and infiltration by unregistered visitors. He cautioned, and I quote, "It is obvious that with the ongoing security challenges, if proper measures are not taken, it will truncate the legislative activities in the National Assembly." End of quote. The lawmaker also urged state houses of assembly across the federation to emulate the same initiative to ensure comprehensive legislative security nationwide. He called for collective commitment to the passage of the bill, saying it will mark a major step toward securing Nigeria's democracy institutions. Details of the news story from Vanguard newspaper. Now it's not your turn to join the conversation this morning to have your say on what we have shared with you on the program. The number to call through to the studio are 07064809896, 07064809896, and the downline is 081-162-58428, 081-162-58428. Those are the lines to reach us to have your say on the program Flashpoints, a newspaper review. Hello. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, ma. My name is Ayekooto Sapoli. You must be learning from Pesu in the local government area of Nigeria.
Good to have you on the program.
I wish to comment on the Sanusi condemnation of federal government on subsidy removal. I would like to discuss on the matter of subsidy removal according to Alhaji Sanusi. My personal opinion on this matter is to let the former Central Bank of Nigeria governor know that the olden days it was the CBN governor has gone too far to this time world economy where it was compared with each other. To me, it was the antelope of the last year that the former CBN governor, Alhaji Sanusi, is eating in his soup by now. This highly means Agbaniesi in Lamidi Sanusi in Jelobelode, when the world economy market system are changing rapidly, drastically and systematically every hour, minute and second. governor to change his word and his utterances on the nowadays economy. God bless Nigeria. Associate Worship TV and Ayekooto too. Good morning, ma.
Good morning, sir. Thank you, Chief Savriyu, for your Susan's comment on the program. The number to call through to the studio is 07064809896, 07064809896, and the downline 08116258428. Now, let me bring this story that Chief Savriyu commented about that's coming from Vanguard newspaper, and it also covers majority of the Nigerian daily newspaper for today. The 16th Emirs of Kano, His Royal Highness Muhammadu Sanusi II, and the renowned economists and founders of Stanbic IBCT Bank, Dr. Atedo Peterside, said yesterday that the reforms of the federal government will not translate into real gains for Nigerians unless there is a deliberate effort to cut down on the cost of governance. Though they commended President Tinubu for having the courage to remove fuel subsidy, they, however, frowned on the manner increased revenue brought about by subsidy removal for being spent. Consequently, the DRO, who spoke at the Oxford Global Think Tank Leadership Conference and Book Launch in Abuja, where top policy makers and economic experts gathered to discuss the theme of the leadership and reform in Nigeria, asked the leadership of the country to embrace economic discipline, sincerity, and accountability in governance. Now, from the report from the Vanguard, Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economic, Mr. Wale Edun, however, said President Tinubu's reforms are already yielding results. Responding to concerns about the reach of the program, the minister revealed that data verification is ongoing to ensure that no community is left out of the initiative. The event also features remarks from global figures, including Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who emphasized the need for courageous leadership and institutional reform to navigate global economic challenges. Also speaking on the occasion, we have Abia State Governor Dr. Alex Oti, former Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, and the lots of others there. You can read up from Vanguard newspaper to have an exclusive details of that news report on the advice by the 16th Emirs of Kano and majority of the others that's features in that news report. They can also be part of the conversation this morning by calling through with 07064809896, 07064809896, and 08116258428. And as well, you can leave your comment on our Facebook page at Ayekooto 88.3fm. We have Ola Hassan, Salami Taiwo, Ali Afolabi, Semiu Oge Shola, and we have okay, let me read the comments from the comment section. We have Semiu Oge Shola, bravo, thank you, and Salami Taiwo, well done. From Iliogbo, we appreciate your comment from that side. And this is where I'll be rounding up the program on Ayekooto Flashpoint, a newspaper review tomorrow, when we shall come your way with another fresh edition of Flashpoint, a newspaper review. I still remain Zainab Ojeka. We appreciate you for joining us, Chief Shafriyu, and those who are trying to call in, but maybe due to network, they couldn't make it to the program. We appreciate you, and thank you for joining us on our Facebook page at Ayekooto 88.3fm. May God bless you abundantly. We appreciate you always and always. Now, don't change the dial. Enjoy the rest of the day with Ayekooto entertaining and educative programs. I am Zainab Ojekon. Thank you.